And we're back, guys. I'm your host, Good Energy. I give you the rundown on tennis coverage every day. Want to thank you guys all for the love and support. And again, just every month, the channel just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But again, we want to do this with integrity, grace, respect for the players. And I say it all the time, I'm not here for likes or views. I don't try to focus on the drama stories. I've tried for the most part to just focus on the actual matches and bringing you scores and highlights. That's really the passion. But sometimes, look, we have to dive into the drama a little bit. And again, that's what YouTube and the algorithm want. They want to get people in their emotions and they want to have these juicy topics and conversations. I do it here and there, but for the most part, thank you guys for the journey so far as we've been bringing you, for the most part, tennis coverage. And thank you so much. We're going to take a look at the French Open final, another slam final just about in the books, one more match to go. And as we start the slams, it's just so exciting. I mean, for people that like basketball, tennis is really college basketball in particular. We know that the WNBA is just becoming so popular, but for people that like college basketball, tennis essentially it's like March Madness every few months, right? With the Grand Slams, you have nearly 100 and I don't know what 50 plus ladies that are all coming to that slam location, giving their all to be the last one standing. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And of course, we're counting the qualifiers. And then, you take a look at those that make it into the main draw. The qualifiers is its whole separate tournament. Then you get into the main draw. You give your all. And for those that lose and have that early exit, they're catching their flight on to the next tournament. And for those that stay, if you've ever been to these slams, after about a week, it gets quieter and quieter. The walkways, the arenas are still packed for the most part, but the walkways, the different events and entertainment sites, they get smaller and smaller as the flights get booked, the teams leave, the players move on, and then eventually you reach a point where there's only two left. And here we are, guys. Iga Swiatek, the world's number one, taking on Jasmine Paolini. This is going to be, I think, personally, and I know Polish fans had a sigh of relief when Rybakina was eliminated because, with Mira coming through, Rybakina, I think, beats Mira very easily like she did previously. I mean, it did go three, but when Elena decided to turn it up, you saw there was a big difference in level. This could have been Elena's number two. And we all know Elena has said she doesn't feel like a slam champion. And look, they've disrespected Elena as well, giving her matches on side courts at the US Open. That's crazy. And she felt disrespected by it. And I felt disrespected for her as well. As a slam champion playing on the side court, that's crazy. I mean, but then again we look at Arthur Ashe and Louis Armstrong. It's you have the men there as well. It's tough to squeeze someone like her in there, but she felt disrespected. And nonetheless, I mean, I think could be, because when we factor in the U.S. Open, you have Coco, who's by far the most recognized player in women's tennis. That's not even a debate, right? That's a fact if you're honest with yourself. And then you have players like Sloane, who is a U.S. Open champion. The slams for the players that have won that particular slam, they try to cater to those players. And just to see Elena Rybak, and even though she was a Wimbledon champion, she wasn't the U.S. Open champion. I thought it was a bit disrespectful. And we're starting to see a theme here. The ladies that are speaking up on the operations and how the tour is just being handled and operated, there's kind of starting to get weird treatment, especially if you take a look at the press. Like, take a look at Elena Rybakina. She's she's been getting some weird treatment in the press lately. A lot of it's negative. Take a look at Coco, who Coco rent. She went on her rant, and she let the cat out of the bag, and she started speaking up. And of course, we all know she speaks up a lot off the court. And the press lately, it's starting to get weird, because we're seeing someone like Coco, despite Iga only in the head to head. We'll get there in a minute. It seems like we're acting as if Coco's not a great player, which is weird that that's even a thing right now, right? The most accomplished player from the age 13 to 19 on tour. So many accolades. There's no one in this top 10 that's won more championships or made it to more Grand Slam final appearances from 13 to 19 than Coco. The best defensive player on tour the last couple of years, the best footwork, the fastest. All the professionals have said this. It's not stuff that I say. And we act like she's not a great player. Even aside from the Iga matchup, it's like people act like she's not good. That's kind of strange, right? Because it's not real people. You go to the matches, they're jam packed with everyone trying to see Coco and meet her and saying good things about her. It's like this weird internet thing, right? Where you have people that create counts a week ago that come to say trash. It's kind of weird. It's kind of funny, right? You notice that? Because it's not real people. It's kind of weird. So the goal here at this channel is to speak the truth and get the facts out there, right? Losing one match or losing to one player doesn't define a career, especially when you're so young and so accomplished. So we want to get the facts out there that all of these ladies that I cover, they're all amazing. And the same with this championship match here, win or lose, both of these ladies are still champions and they're still amazing. And Iga Swiatek's the reigning and defending champion. How's she going to do it against Jasmine Paolini? Well, let's take a look, guys. Iga Swiatek finds herself here, and that's her working out. Here's something I find interesting. Her former coach, who is coaching Shelby Rogers now, he said Iga Swiatek does not. A lot of people think, because she wins all these matches, that she works out, harder than everyone else. He says she does not work harder than anyone that I've ever trained. That's very interesting because, look, I've seen the players work out as well, and I haven't seen anything that's extra hard. So it's amazing to me how she's so good because, when you hear the feedback, it's like she's not working, extra hard, and that's what a professional coach or former coach said. I didn't say that. That's what he said. So I find that interesting. But she's 44 and 4. That's a triple four, guys, on the year. She's won a ton of matches in a row. Yeah, she's on a win streak, guys. She won Rome, or first she won Madrid. Then she won Rome. All right, guys, that's 12 matches in a row right there. And to win the Grand Slam, you have to win 7 matches. She's on an 18-match win streak, guys. I'm not going to name them, but the likes of Sabalenka twice, Madison Keys twice, Coco twice, Beatrice Haddad, Kerber, Osaka, who literally, Coco, that's your Grand Slam number 2 right there. That is, Osaka had match point. She had Iga. That is your Grand Slam number 2, Coco. That is number 2. Do you guys realize that's number 2? In case you don't, in case you're not aware, if you're from Warsaw or somewhere, this is the Big Coco channel. I give the people what they want. This is Big Coco channel, and it's Big Iga channel too. It used to be bigger, but you guys know when I kind of changed my stance a little bit because it's about integrity. Now Iga Swiatek, she's going to take on Paolini, who she's played twice, and she's won both of those matchups, right? And that's her, by the way, practicing. And that was Marketa practicing. Now, they've played once on hard at Prague. That's Czech Republic. I was on the ITF she did hand out a breadstick to Jasmine in the second set. And they played a couple of years ago at the U.S. Open on Iga Swiatek's historic run in New York. And I say it all the time, if you want to be a big star, you have to win New York. That New York U.S. Open championship with Iga, that was full of drama, guys. And that's where I kind of started to back off a bit, because I felt that I just felt something was going to blow up. I was just seeing way too much stuff, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this is myself, someone that has competed and played sports for so long. I'm like, I'm seeing too many things here that do not look good. But nonetheless, champion there, and she defeated Jasmine Paolini 6-3, 6-love, bagel in the second set. And that was a couple of years ago, right? But I do want to talk about the match here with Marketa. I thought Iga looked really, really good. And I've said in the past, I don't think Marketa likes Iga. And this is just for me watching the matches. I mean, look, they could be very good friends behind the scenes, but I just, from what I see, I don't think so. Because in the past, Marketa has complained that Iga holds her up. She does, little things to disrupt her momentum. And this is a lot of the stuff that I saw during that U.S. Open run, where I'm like, this is not good, you know. And if you take a look, though, at the stats here, 93% on the first serve from Iga. She won 79% of those. She won all of her second serves, nearly triple the winners, right? Reduce the unforced errors, converted on the break points. And I want to talk about this match because this is against someone with very good variety. Marketa has solid variety, right? Marketa has the type of style that can kind of disrupt your timing and your rhythm. And for Iga to play so good against someone who's just so versatile says a lot about her game. Now, the match against Coco, her numbers were not that great. And this kind of lets you know just how good Coco is. And Iga said it. Iga said Coco is one of the most consistent players on tour. And she is. I mean, you can't be, the all-time leader of master wins as a teenager if you're not consistent, right? And I had someone on the channel say something so ridiculous. I get a lot of casual fans. It's cool if you're a casual fan. I have no problem with you coming here showing love, but just try not to say things that aren't true, because you have people that are casual fans and then they'll see this stuff and then they'll start to believe it. And that's the thing that I try to separate from this tennis outlet in contrast to other tennis outlets, because these other tennis outlets, they just want money and views and likes. They'll post a video and they won't even they won't do anything in the comments. They'll let people run wild in the comments with lies. And that's, to some extent, you have to be responsible for your channel and all the misinformation that's being put in the comments. At some point, you have to regulate it. You have to step in and say, look, we're not going to allow that. And that's what I do here, because we don't want people coming here painting false narratives and lies. It's all about being honest, showing integrity. And this YouTube world is madness. It's nonsense. You got people that create their accounts 2 days ago and they just hide behind the keyboard and they just bash the players and say things that aren't true. If I say something, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? But you can't say things that we know are lies and aren't true, because that's based on integrity, right? So in terms of the match with Coco, Iga's numbers, they weren't that great, and it shows how tough Coco is. 67% of the first serves in play, even though that is higher than her average at slams and masters, which is about 60%, 59%. She won 64% of the first serve. We saw how she was dominant with Marketa at 90+%, right? 67% on the second serve. She was 100% against Marketa. Coco had 4 opportunities to break Iga, converted on 1. That came at the service game where there was drama with the chair umpire. Now, here's the problem with that, right? And, we're seeing people, and again, it's about just being honest, and we don't want people putting false narratives out there, because casual fans believe that, and it really changes the perception. Like I said, There's two players on tour right now that are getting a lot of negative media attention, and that's Rebecca and it's Coco. And those are the only two players that are really and Ons at one point when Ons was talking about the war and all that stuff, Ons started to get a lot of negative media attention. But the two players that are consistent with speaking up and being vocal are Coco and Elena, and they by far get the most negative attention. We know what that's about, but the reality here is we need to not let people just run wild with false narratives, right? Now, that play and that call with Iga and Coco, that was a horrible call from the chair umpire. That was completely horrible, right? Why? Because if you take a look at Coco striking that ball, if you have any integrity, if you're honest with yourself, you saw she put no effort in striking that ball. I have people that are coming here saying, oh, I slowed the tape down and I listened. Child, please. Get out of here with that nonsense. If you for 1 second believe that nonsense you're telling yourself, that's just sad. The game moves so freaking fast. Okay, you have to understand when it comes to hand-eye coordination, tennis players have the best of all athletes. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna say all athletes, but they're up there, right? 1A, 1B. The ball moves so fast. You clearly see the reaction from Coco. So not only is she looking at the ball, it clearly looks out if you see it. She's anticipating the call from the line judge, which she got. She gives a very lackadaisical effort to return that shot because she sees the balls going out. She hears the call. She's processing all this data at the same time. And still this is how fast she is. She's fast enough to say, look, I'm not even going to try on that. She does not attempt to even hit the ball in play. You guys, if you watch tennis, you know Coco, people complain about the forehand. They complain about the serve, the double faults. What makes her win matches? Her defense and her backhand. That's the best. She's the best defender in the game. She has the best backhand in the game. She's not even trying to make that shot with her best backhand. There's no effort in the shot. So it's like, guys, if you have a tennis channel and you see this nonsense coming in, you need to show integrity, okay? Because the players that are speaking up and they're making a difference, you cannot let people talk trash that's not true about them. You need to step up. If you're going to have a channel, you need to step up and you need to protect the players that are playing with integrity. You need, for the sake of the game. That is your duty. That is your job for the sake of the game. The players that are playing it with class, grace, and dignity and respect for their opponents, you need to step up and say something. Okay? Because not all people are going to take the time and go watch that play. Not all people are watching the matches. You clearly see that young lady crying on television. You see her crying on TV. You see she did not put any effort in making that shot. So do not get on the internet and talk trash and say things that are not true. That young lady's crying on TV because they are jerking that young lady. Because she's speaking up and she's taking a stand for a lot of things and a lot of people. And if you don't have integrity and if you don't understand what's going on, then you keep quiet. But do not come to all these tennis channels talking that trash when you know it's true, when you know it's not true, okay? And you know that young lady is right, okay? That's my little rant for the night because over here, we're not going to allow that because we don't care about money or likes or views. These other people, they do videos, they switch up, when it's convenient to get a like or a view, and they just let all this toxicity, all this toxic trash just run rampant through their comment section. You need to filter that and cut that out, okay? Because that is not acceptable. You see that young lady crying, pouring her heart out. She knows what's going on. Everyone knows what's going on. We can clearly see it. That girl is solid. She is a very good player. She's a very, very good player for her age. You clearly see what's going on. Okay? That's my rant for the night. So we take a look at the numbers for that match. She played a good match. And I say that because Jasmine, if she's going to play well and defeat Iga, she's going to have to take a page from several opponents' book. And can she do that? Now, she defeated Mira, who, and I've been saying this for a while, I don't know if Mira, and look, I'm going to word this carefully because I think that Mira, you know what? I want to watch how I word this because she's only 17, but I'm going to take a page from a previous statement that I made. She amazes me every time she plays. I'm just going to put it that way. Because every time I think that she can't outdo herself, she does. And I think the main thing that's underrated in Mira's game is her ability, her long wingspan, her long reach, her ability to get her racket on those balls and just get them over the net. That one extra shot, one more ball in play is the motto of the defensive player. Just get the ball back over the net. And I've seen hundreds and thousands of just those one-handed returns sliding on clay, and the opponents have an overhead volley, and then they just hit it long and make a mistake. We saw Osaka do it. She could have put Iga away and messed that up. Mira amazes me. But I did tell you that Paolini should win the match, take her as the underdog to win at least a set, and she did that. I think that for Paolini to win this match against Iga, she's going to have to take a page out of everyone that she's beat book, right? And we're going to start. She's on a 6-match win streak. She's going to have to take a page out of Dasha Seville, where we saw Dasha last year at the Australian Open, where no one gave Dasha a chance to win 4 service games. We saw her take Iga into deep water, break Iga. How did she do it? By getting balls back. Showing her amazing stamina, short center of gravity. She's another one. She's probably about the same height as Jasmine. I'd say she's probably the same height as Jasmine. Now, Jasmine's, I'm hearing people say she's 5'4". I'd probably say she's 5'6" on a good day, right? And I joke that she's 4'11". That's just a joke. But they're saying she's 5'4". I think she's probably closer to 5'6". I mean, you put on your sneakers and stuff, you know, especially the sneakers they wear nowadays. You know, they're thick, they're insulated, good support. They'll give you a couple inches. So I say she's at least 5'6". Take a page out of Dasha's book, getting those balls back, right? That's one player. The next player she took, Haley Baptiste. You got to take a page out of Haley's book. Haley's by far the younger version of Ons, right? Very good shot maker, right? Drop shots and slices. Haley has the ability to change the pace of any rally with her shot making ability. She's got to take a page from Haley's book. She's going to have to take a page from Bianca, which she plays that way anyway, Bianca Andreescu. Explosive vertically. And if you take a look at the players that Jasmine defeated up until the mirror point, very explosive coming vertically, amazing baseliner, a lot of power. Put Iga on the back foot with all of that variety. Elena Evanesian, again, much like Dasha, good defensive player, just get balls back, show really good stamina. You're going to have to take a page, and this is probably the most important, from Elena Rybakina's book. You're going to have to serve well. Now, Jasmine, she's not a good acer. She doesn't have that big serve, and a part of it's her being so short. It's tough to get the ball over the net. We know the best servers in history have been the taller players on tour. Elena Rybakina is an amazing serve. Ashley Barty's the exception to that rule. And Serena Williams. Serena wasn't that tall. A lot of people think or may not know, but Serena, she's not that tall. Under 6 feet, 5'10", 5'11". But Serena, amazing server. Ashley Barty, I'm gonna stick with her because she's a lot shorter, right? She's much more comparable. She's much more comparable to Paolini. Ashley Barty, amazing ball toss, amazing form. Ashley Barty owned Iga Swiatek. We know that. She couldn't beat Iga. And I said Ashley Barty was going to take over the tour. I thought that tennis was in a good spot. And look at Serena. Ashley Barty couldn't do anything with Serena. I thought the tour was in a good spot when Barty was there. You had Iga there. You had Annette Kontaveit. You had Yelena. You had Arena. You had Coco. You still had Osaka. I just thought that 10, Zachary was still playing good. I thought that was a solid 10 there. I thought that was a solid 10. And I was really excited for tennis. But then Osaka falls out, mental issues, right? She needs a break mentally. And Rybakina, in case you don't know, because she needs to take this page from Rybakina's book by serving well, Rybakina's talking about taking a mental break. She's saying the sport is too much. And I'm telling you guys, the players that are speaking up, they're starting. It seems to me, this is my opinion, the players that are speaking up, they're starting to get a lot of bad media, a lot of bad press, and the reality here is we got to protect these players. We have to support these players because they're trying to make the game player. They're trying to make the game better, and I've said this to make the game better. I think the tour needs to get a $10 million mandatory bonus. Put that money aside from your revenue. Have a sponsor pay it, or someone, whoever. Have the Saudis pay it. Every player in the top 100 gets a guaranteed $100,000 bonus at the end of the season. Every player, doesn't matter your rank, 100, from 1 to 100. Okay, that's the cutoff point. 100 gets a $100,000 bonus. It's not going to do anything to the top 10 players. They're already rich, but the players from 100 to 30 probably, or 20, that's going to help them a lot. You can pay your coaches, you can pay whatever outstanding expenses you have. We need to implement that. What is that going to do? You say, hey, why good energy? What is that going to improve? That's going to improve the level and quality of tennis that we get. Why? Because these players that are ranked 100, they can't get into every tournament. It's impossible to get. They're in the slams, but they're going to be facing Iga or someone, one of these top tier players. Okay, so that's one good game check. But what about the other 500s or 250s that they can't get in because spots and spaces are limited? Give them that bonus. That's going to help their quality of life. That's going to help their training. That's going to help everything. It's going to go a long way. And what's going to happen? The quality of matches is going to improve because now you have players that can prepare. They're not stressing financially about, sharing hotels and flights and all this other stuff. That is going to help the quality of game. And players like Iga, players like Sabalenka, players like, anyone in the top 10, they're going to get more competitive matches because now players, when you're, and I've always believed this, I've coached, managed lots of people. If someone's stressed out, a lot of times you're not going to get their best performance. Look at Coco when she plays Iga. She's not even playing her game. She's mentally not. She's not even checked in, which is why I said I think if I were coaching Coco, I would just have a game plan the next time she plays Iga. Just the game plan is there is no game plan. Just play your game. Get a feel for the game and figure it out. Because a lot of times when you take someone so good and you try to tell them what to do, especially if when they've been playing a certain way their whole life that's been successful, and now you say, hey, I need you to do this in this situation, this in that situation. If they haven't perfected it or mastered it, then they're essentially practicing it, and they're not going to get their best results anyway, So I just feel that that's a game plan they might want to explore. Say, hey, look, just play. And I felt the one time she beat her in Cincinnati, she was just playing tennis. She was just playing carefree, right? She's a professional. She can gauge the game. She can figure it out. And she can Improvise on the fly. That's what good players do. You guys watch professional sports. You saw Jordan. Jordan wasn't listening to Phil Jackson's plays in the huddle. You look at all the star players when these coaches are calling plays. They're not listening to these plays. They're not. Be honest with yourself. They're not, because they know they're going to get the ball and they're going to do what they do best, and that's make things happen. Okay? I've coached plenty big matches where I'll call a play in the huddle. No one listens to the play. The ball ends up in the hands of my best player, and he takes over and does what he does. He gets a feel for the defense and he reacts based on his skills, his mental experience, and he makes a play and we win the game. That's really how tennis is, with the exception of some players, because when you're implementing strategy in tennis, a lot of times your opponent is countering everything you're doing, and they're sometimes they're just trying to get the ball back. So again, now you're reacting to that wherever the ball is placed. So that could be completely different from your strategy. The simple things in tennis, for the most part, strategy, a lot of that is serving to start the rally, right? That's going down the tee, jam the hips, it's going out wide. That's a strategy you can implement. But if you're trying to attack an opponent's forehand and your forehand's not strong itself, that's not going to work. If you're trying to attack an opponent's forehand and they're hitting you with drop shots, that's not going to work. Okay? What will work, as we pivot back to what Jasmine needs to do, is if you have a deep ball like Elena Rybakina, that is your strength, and that's how you play your game, which is why styles make matchups. Elena plays the deep ball. That's her game. So naturally, opponents that don't play the deep ball and not comfortable returning the deep ball are going to struggle, which is why Rybakina has dominated Iga. So Paolini is going to have to take a page from that book to dominate Iga. All right. And then we're going to take Mira Andreeva. She's going to have to take a page from that book. Now, she's not left-handed, but she's going to have to take a page from that book of just getting balls back, getting that one hand back, getting that ball back over the net, making Iga make one more shot. And then Jasmine's going to have to do what she does best, and that's just be fast and explosive. I've put Jasmine on my top fastest list of ladies on tour for several years now. Number one's Coco. Number two is Jasmine. Now you guys are starting to realize why I've been telling you for so long that Jasmine's so good and to watch out for her. You can't teach speed, guys. You can't. Someone that plays fast is going to be a problem for most players on tour because they're going to speed you up. Jasmine has the ability to speed Iga up. And if she wants to win, she has to do all those things I just mentioned and continue to play fast and speed Iga up. She's going to have to use her forehand in these situations. She's going to have to back Iga up, but she's got to serve well. I don't think Jasmine's going to have more than one ace in this match. She'll probably have zero. And that concerns me because to beat Iga, one of the key things is you have to have a big serve to back her up from the start. That's going to be a problem in this match. Jasmine does not have that big serve. She doesn't. But once the ball's in play, she's big as can be. She's a giant, right? At only 5'4". This is the pick for this match, guys. We're going to take the first set under 40.5 minutes. That's a pick. That's a prop. That's available. And we are going to take and look at Mira. Mira, congratulations. Don't cry. You played amazing. And we're going to take the second set to go over 8.5 games. I think Jasmine will put up a fight in the second set. I do think the first set's going to be under 40.5 minutes. Those are the two picks, guys. Enjoy tennis in a minute. We'll be back with more tournaments. Today, guys, what about Martina Trevisan, the favorite, eliminated by Tamara Zedinsek? I told you. Actually, no, I didn't tell you who would win that match, but I think hopefully you got the message there. What about Maya Joint? She went a tough match with Petra Marčič. I'm telling you guys, she won a tiebreak with Petra Marčič. I think that even went 3 sets. Yeah. she's a player I said watch out for. She's actually playing college in the United States, so that's good for her. Congratulations. Sarah Sieto, she's going to be taking on Jill Teichman in a semifinal. That's going to be good. That's another player I told you to watch out for, right? Playing good, solid tennis. So that's going to be good. And who else? Who else? We got some other matches. Laura Pagasi taking on Gormaz Romero. That's going to be good. And what else we got? Katie Valinets against Xu Wang. Petra Martic, who took out Maya Joint today. She's going to take on Mayor Sharif. And we have Coco and Katerina taking on Paolini and Irani in the doubles championship. Alexander Zverev, he's going to be taking on Carlos Alcaraz. I don't like Carlos' numerology. I did like it over center. That was a lock. I hope you guys took that. Like I said, he would win. And he was underdog for a lot of that. Alexander's going to play Carlos tough. So that's going to be a good match. I'll cover that as well. But those are the picks, guys. Enjoy the tennis commentary. Again, I just hit the record button and talk. But again, it's from the heart, guys. Thank you for the love and support. Hit the super thanks. Like the video. Show some love. And again, we don't do this for likes, for views. That's what separates me from these other channels. I can actually speak truth. A lot of these people, they're just doing this for money. Like, come on, man. Get out of here. This should be for entertainment and to make the sport better. We'll be back, guys. Championship, French Open. Will Iga get number 5? If there's someone that can stop her, it's that young lady right there. We'll be back.